Nice. Welcome to the 5th Exhibition of Stupidity. Now, this is a irregular series where I take items and articles or the odd video or piece of social media and showcase it for your, and most importantly, my viewing pleasure. Now, before we start, I want you to notice on the shelf there is a picture of Griffiths, the winner of the 2nd Exhibition of Stupidity, a picture of Emma Watson not being sexualized at all, the winner of the 3rd Exhibition of Stupidity, and last time the most popular piece of stupidity was Black Lives Matter. And at the end of this video, by all means in the comments, tell me which item or object you think is deserving to be on these shelves. So let's dive right in. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm starting with this again. With this. Now, to give this better context, last time I started with a uterus hat, because spring is the right season for internal genitalia hat. This time, we're starting with pants, knickers, undies, whatever you call them, undergarments with internal genitalia drawn on, because nothing says hot more than seeing what's on the inside printed on the outside. This is all very empowering, isn't it now? Next up we have this racist fuck, and that is putting it very mildly. You see, this gentleman was in a cafe in Cape Town and thought it was a wise idea to tell the white waitress he would tip her if she gave back the land. For him to then go on and say that the white media is the one making the fuss, and that she will cry white tears and blah blah, white this, white that. You racist fuck. You are given a lot of money to go and study at Oxford, only for you to spend the majority of your time criticising the statue of Cecil Rhodes. Now, you did get into trouble. You were criticised by a whole multitude of people of many different races, because race is so bloody important. Obviously the university didn't expel you, and I would not have gone for that. The petition was tried and failed, but I do think you should have been punished. A ban on Facebook isn't really going to cut it, is it? And you were banned on Facebook. You have refused to apologise. As mentioned, there was a petition to try and get your scholarship revoked. It failed, but I think it shows a weakness in the college. Okay, they haven't taken down the statue of Cecil Rhodes, they haven't entirely buckled, but I think they were afraid to be labelled racist because of you. To finish my mockery of you, in the 16th to 18th century, Africans enslaved 1.5 million white Europeans in the Barbary slave trade. Where's their land, bitch? The next entry is something I have actually featured to an extent in an I Need Feminism video, where I think it said I need feminism because an STD should not be judged, it should be worn like a badge of honour or something. Yeah, in this instance it is this image. This woman just celebrated her 3-year herpes anniversary, and she's damn proud of it. Now, I do want to quickly check what a 3rd anniversary is. One quick Google search later and we discover the traditional gift for a 3rd anniversary is leather, which is perfect, because that way you can bind your vagina in leather so no one goes in there and gets herpes. Okay? Because no one should risk getting herpes. There is nothing to be proud of having a sexually transmitted disease. All it tells me is you had dirty sex with someone. That's all it tells me. It tells me you are not hygienic. It tells me you would rather be ill, have a disease, than be clean. It tells me a lot more about your own hygienic habits. It tells me you don't wash, you don't clean, you don't take medicine. It tells me you would rather fuck unprotected than take care of yourself. You belong in here. Next is everyone's favourite dick, Will Wheaton, who tweeted out this beautiful image of him drinking cum, I assume. Now, a few months back I did a contribution video where I asked people to submit a video of them saying, "Shut up, Wesley." Everyone did a magnificent job. That video got over 600 views, I was very happy with it. But I didn't get blocked, and I sent it right to him. I asked him to block me, he still didn't do it. But I did this. So Wesley is a cum guzzler, how unsurprising, and I finally get blocked. That does it? I talk about your fictitious character being a cum guzzler, not you. Of course, Wesley probably was. He would have sucked to be cut dry. And I'm putting you in here again because it took me so long to get blocked by you. You're the kind of person who had, before you blocked me I couldn't see it, you had a pinned tweet about basically making a safe space, cleaning up the garbage. Because rather than engage in criticism, your idea of dealing with it is to simply block it and live happy and ignorant It's ignorant, you're ignorant. Rather than deal with the criticism aimed at you because, well, much like that Star Wars video, you just showed how much of a cunt you really are. The mansplaining video on the Nerdist channel, that was terrible. In fact, that's another reason you're here. That video, I was going to do a response video to it, but then I was concerned. Nerdist owned Geek and Sundry, and I thought, I would get content ID'd on that, wouldn't I? I'll get a copyright strike for fair use. But it's you mansplaining Star Wars. A Star Trek actor. Well, actor. Yeah, no, you weren't. No one liked you then, no one likes you now. The next entry is the BBC. No, not Big Black Cock. The other one that broadcasts stuff. The thing, license payers, i.e. the British people, anyone who owns a television has to pay for a TV license. Okay, the BBC is a British institution. We have to pay for it, even if we want to pay for a subscription service to Sky or Virgin or anyone else who offers one. Even if we don't watch the BBC, because they're the ones that receive the money, the majority of it, most of it, if not all of it. The only reason why is because they don't do adverts. ITV do, the Channel 3. Channel 4, they do adverts. Channel 5, I think they get some, maybe a little. Does Channel 5 still exist? Anyway, my gripe with the BBC is historical inaccuracy in some of their supposed dramas. The most recent one being this. This is a TV series called Hollow Crown. Supposed to be some historical relevance and, of course, accuracy. But the BBC, being as politically correct as it can be and desperate to use affirmative action at every opportunity, has decided to cast Margaret of Anjou as a black woman. They did see a picture of her before, right? This is not the first time the BBC have annoyed me. In fact, they're going to feature twice now. Because the next one is their application process for creative access. As a taxpayer, as someone who pays for a TV license, I expect a certain standard with application process, equality if you will. So when you have an application process that specifically excludes white people, or white UK nationals, you know you've done fucked up. No one likes the BBC. It may be considered an institution, but it is outdated and has nothing good. Okay, Doctor Who, but that could easily be picked up by someone else. Netflix, ideally. That said, no doubt Netflix means you'd still have to pay for a bloody TV license in the UK if you're watching something that streams. This is how stupid the BBC is, and how UK law completely screws anyone who wants to watch television. Why do I have to pay for a license which goes to a broadcasting company I don't watch anything on at all? Especially if I'm paying for a subscription service to Sky to watch boxing, which I wish I could, but I pay for a TV license and can't afford the Sky package to get the boxing. I have to watch it on YouTube, because that's not stealing at all. And the application thing, I'm sorry, yet again, paying for TV license, I get a say on this. That's not equality, that is open discrimination. That is as bad as the black guy insulting a white woman by calling her a white woman who should give back land. BBC, you suck, and I should put 2 BBC logos here somewhere. Ding ding, done. The next entry is a 2-parter, in that I'm not sure if it's the sign you see or the person that bothers me more. So let's go through both and see which one, or maybe even both, are going to be going on the corkboard here. So the sign is a public safety notice on restricted or listed breeds of dogs. And it's basically a warning to be careful about these dogs. They must be leashed, muzzled, wear a collar bearing the owner's name and address, and be under the control of the person over 16 years of age. Which is better than some places in the UK where, or maybe I think it is in fact the UK, where some of these dogs are illegal and are put down. Now, when I see a dog attack someone or something, I usually look to the owner after getting the dog off. I've seen it happen twice before. Get the dog off, control the dog, talk to the owner. The owner is, well, they're usually thugs. Dicks, pricks, arseholes, cunts. I saw one encourage its dog to attack a cat. Happened to be my cat. I didn't take it very well. Anyway, doesn't matter. The point and problem with this list is that it encourages people to be afraid of these dogs, which they shouldn't be. People should not be judging an animal based on actions of breeders in the past, because it is the breeder's fault. It is the fault of people who have use dogs for dog fighting, which is banned. You can put German Shepherd on the list. I had one as a child. They're police dogs. Why should people be afraid of a dog that's meant to serve the public or the military? I've got family with Staffordshire Bull Terriers. If you've even come across one, you know they are the cuddliest, loveliest dogs. Very muscular, but lovely dogs. All the dogs, in fact, on this list are lovely, and they really are. The second for your consideration is the guy, because it's the fact that he's assuming these are all vicious dogs based on a few facts from the past. There are no good facts now that back up any of these dogs being vicious in the UK. In America, there may still be dog fights going on, but that's because of the people. It's not the dog's fault. It is not the fault of the dog how they are treated and how they act because of the treatment. And I don't like that. I don't like that. In fact, it does translate to humanity and race, where a lot of people on the regressive side are telling white people it is their fault for the actions of some people's ancestors, and that isn't right. Racism seems to be quite a common theme in this video, I've noticed. And Will Wheaton drinking gallons of cum. Maybe the BBC should stand for Big Black Cock. While not the most religious person, I did think this next article was funny, in that at a Catholic university with a fair amount of Catholic iconography around, Muslim students at a Catholic university have taken offence to there being so many crosses, which brings up the obvious response from quite a lot of people of, why are there Muslim students at a Catholic university? It's the obvious one. It's actually all over the comments section. This level of logic is up there with guys getting offended that there's an all-girls school. It's just as stupid. If somehow boys are admitted to that school, do you think they're going to be offended that they're the only boys? And I know the obvious is, no, Happerdep, they're going to want to see the girls naked. Yes, they are, but it's school. You're there to learn. Okay, yes, maybe you do have to adhere to certain prayers. All this does is tell me that you'll get offended over anything. No offence to Muslims who aren't. You know, the ones that can handle pork through plastic. We love bacon. Is fucking king. But this is ridiculous. There is something I noticed about this article, is that the Catholic University has a Muslim Student Association that have sued the university before. Previously, they had sued over the university ending its policy of allowing mixed gender dormitories. Essentially, the Student Association has a history of complaining, which sounds oddly familiar to a guy in Walmart refusing to hold pork even though it was in plastic. Guess what faith he was. Or the other complaints about the university not providing enough space, as others do, for the many daily prayers Muslim students must make. Because of course it's impossible when you see a cross. The X on a keyboard must kill you. I find it fascinating that you Muslim students have gone to a Catholic university. You have chosen to go there. And what you have done is decide that you will not adopt that university's culture. Shock horror, you didn't integrate. Of course I wouldn't say, go ahead and be Catholic. I'm not big on religion in the first place. But instead you decided, no, everything is problematic. I must now sue them because that's the only sensible thing to do to the university I am studying at. Make problems where there aren't really any. If it's so important to you, I'm sure there's a patch of grass. Why don't you go to the toilet? Use the bloody toilet floor. If it's so damn important to you to pray. The only time I come close to praying, is when I stub my toe on a door and I pray I didn't break it. Because I've done it before. It really hurts. The next item is something obviously stupid. I don't know what the majority's views on prisoners are, but I do believe that some are entitled to some basic human rights. One being visitation. Now there is an article that indicates visitation is changing, where instead of going to see your loved one or friend, you are instead being charged to talk to them via Skype video calls, which I would consider inhumane, and well, it probably would increase violence if you're not, and I'm reading that part from the article, if you're not able to actually interact with someone that keeps you balanced, it keeps you centered. I think I would be driven insane if I wasn't able to actually have a meaningful connection with someone. And I don't mean conjugal, I mean just sit and talk to someone that I care about. A Skype call doesn't count. You have to put up with glitches, lag, if it's Skype especially. Oh my god. Skype, fucking hell, Skype, you suck so much. Discord's no better. Sorry if anyone's offended, but I don't give a fuck. I hate Discord. I understand that in the American judicial system, certainly the prisons, quite a lot of it is private. So of course, you want to make money. But if you're going to make money, you probably want to do it with a system that is proven to work and not test it on people who are unstable. You want the system to have been tried and tested, let's say in a more civil manner, not with active prisoners. Maybe get some test dummies that you want to scare straight. Not literally straight, I mean scare from committing crime, that one. The ones you send to boot camps. Anyway, whoever's doing this, you idiots. Securus Technologies, you're an idiot. Well done. Welcome to the club. You can go between BBC and BBC. 2 loads of BBC for you. Wow. So to those that are watching this, those who watch my content, you'll know I'm not big on the fat acceptance movement. I personally, while supporting a certain level of body positivity, I don't think you should be ashamed of being a bit overweight, having scars. Generally, I don't think there's a problem with that. But I do think there is a problem when you can make an entire army of adipose from your body fat. And this is where Tess Holliday comes into it. For those who are unaware, Tess Holliday is a 5'4", morbidly obese, size 22 woman who is a model. She is promoted by companies like New Look to encourage body positivity. She is their champion. Now, Tess Holliday is also someone that believes being overweight does not make her unhealthy. She's the kind of person who takes a lot of pictures by gym machines to show that she works out, which is good. But to promote the idea that you can be healthy while being the size that you are is incorrect. To carry that amount of excess weight around, I know you're pregnant at the moment, but your normal weight, that excess weight puts tremendous pressure on your body, your bones, your internal organs, especially your heart. At your height, you should not be weighing anywhere near 300 pounds. You should be half that. You are 2 humans. And taking lots of pictures of yourself at this size, telling people they should be proud to be this size, is not right. You are lucky enough that you earn a lot of money to be able to sustain this. There are lots of people who cannot afford to sustain this, and they think that you're right. You, being a feminist, and quite a lot of other feminists, promote this body positivity, but you also promote a lot of aspects of getting women into STEM. Scientists know better than to carry that. That, what you have, the weight you carry, is a way to encourage diabetes and especially heart disease. Eventually kidney failure. Hell, it would encourage a lot of problems very young. We are a species that is getting older. We're living for longer. Surely your goal in life is to prolong your health for as long as humanly possible, so you can enjoy your life the most. Unless, of course, your way of enjoying your life is celebrating morbid obesity and dying a lot younger, even with the doctor's help. Now, you did take some backlash for this, and I'm going to read a couple of the tweets. First, it doesn't matter about beauty. That's not healthy. She's probably on her way to diabetes and heart disease. Hashtag big and beautiful. How can an obese person be considered a role model? Why is this being promoted as a good thing? Celebrating morbid obesity is as dangerous as promoting anorexia. It's unacceptable to promote it. Hashtag big and beautiful is also known as hashtag big and unhealthy. Same for being underweight. Super skinny is unhealthy. Opposite ends of the unhealthy scale. In short, you cannot be that size and healthy. Sorry, Tess. Moving on. Beyonce's Ivy Park clothing line. Oh, I love that Super Bowl picture. Those pictures had me in hysterics. But what bothers me is that she essentially has sweatshop slaves earning 44 pence an hour making empowering clobber. They make £4.30 a day, which is 907 Sri Lankan rupees. And this rupee is quite weak. It's not that strong as far as currency goes. And the average income of a Sri Lankan is about 11,000 a year. This is not good at all. This is terrible. And that's before tax, so I don't know what the tax rates are in Sri Lanka. But Sri Lanka is a very poor nation, and offloading your work to them just to save costs is terrible, especially when you have quite a lot of employment problems in the US. This is as stupid as H&M t-shirt. This is what a feminist looks like, with the work being outsourced to Bangladesh. While I am all for import-export, I am not when the employees are not being paid well. Now, I had to take into consideration the exchange rate of that pound, of £4.30 a day, and it still means they earn nothing. They earn just enough to get by, and that is terrible. If you're going to be making as much money as you make off your merchandise, you can cut a little bit out of it because you've got hundreds of millions. Capitalism is one thing, but this is theft of hard work. You've made the brand, now reward the people who make your stuff. Now, where I said that they could just about get by on what they earn isn't really true. Most of the workers are young women, so naturally this clothing is empowering, and they come from very poor rural villages and can only afford to live in boarding houses and have to work more than 60 hours a week just to make ends meet. This is also another one of those horrible situations where they're not willing to speak out because, much like employment law in the UK, it's so relaxed they are afraid of losing their jobs. That's terrible, and unlike in Sri Lanka, the UK has a good benefit system, Sri Lanka does not. These people are terrified, and you're empowering them? That is a false message. And let's not forget the Super Bowl thing with the Black Lives Matter thing. They deserve to be on that shelf. They're a bunch of hypocrites and fucking hateful people. But you are a terrible person if you want to encourage this. You and your husband have a combined worth of £760 million. And you outsource your work like this? Keep it in America if you don't want to pay people fairly. I don't like this when rich people just, especially rich people who are supposedly role models, abuse their position and abuse the system and do not offer a better way of life for others that they outsource their work to. I think there's something inherently corrupt about it, much like the "This is what a feminist looks like" t-shirt. Now we come to the very final piece to go into this exhibition, and it concerns something I was a part of, the NUS, or National Union of Students. Now, I always considered it to be quite petty, the politics, the way people behaved, much like adult politics really, and yes, I said adult politics. But recently, NUS black students had a conference vote for the motion to abolish all prisons, as they say jail is sexist and racist, and call for the inmates to be freed. They also voted to step up a campaign against the anti-extremism agenda. What's wrong with people not wanting extremists, the extremists being of the more terror variety? That's a very vague statement. Anti-extremism agenda could apply to anyone that you disagree with passionately about. Everyone's a fascist! But the prison one really interested me because prisons have existed for such a long time, thousands of years, not even kidding. Okay, granted, in the old days, you were pretty much going to die if you went to prison. But the fact you think they're sexist, even though if they are sexist, they're sexist in favour of women since they get a lower jail term, and racist when more crimes committed proportionately by black people, is very interesting. So surely if it's racist against white people. I don't think that's what you mean. Oh, and let's not forget here, the current NUS Black Students Officer, Malia Bouashia, who was elected as the union's next president, despite the fact that she's made a whole host of anti-Semitist claims. Anti-Semitist. I read that from the paper. Anti-Semitic claims, although I'm pretty sure they were Zionist. It doesn't matter. The whole thing's a mess. The NUS, quite frankly, has been a joke for years. I remember when the constitution for it was being written. That was petty. This, though, this is as bad as the union banning sombreros, which they did at my old uni and I've mentioned before in previous videos. It is as bad as banning people from showing off their heritage in case they offend someone of another culture, or someone wearing something from another culture that doesn't fit them because race matters. NUS, you are a joke. And the fact you have to have one for black people is an absolute farce. Student unions should represent all students, but the fact you divided and have a black student union as well, it is like being kicked in the balls. It's an unending pain that's both hilarious and agonizing. And with that, we have come to the end of the 5th Exhibition of Stupidity. If there is something you have seen today that you believe to be the stupidest and is worthy of sitting between Griffiths, Emma Watson and Black Lives Matter, please let me know in the comments. Thank you all for listening.
Okay, you're watching Lady Believes in the Virgin Birth. Dawkins gets mad.
Okay, let's see.
Would you like from the beginning? Or
No, play from the bit just before the most beautiful quote I have ever heard.
Playing now.
Only guiding force.
Well, a lot of religious people are secularists,
well,
you know.
And for rationality and reason to be our God. But actually, what spirituality is a whole other dimension that we enter into, and that
I accept rationality and reason as my God because it means that what you believe in is not rational or reasonable.
Yes. Actually, I think I need to start just a little bit beforehand so we can hear her entire spill.
Oh yeah, sure, go back, it's fine.
Yeah. Are you still recording?
Yeah, yeah.
Are you recording me too?
Well, you're part of the audio, so yes.
Oh no!
Well,
Okay.
I'll leave you a link to your channel.
Alright, better. I'll hurt you. Alright.
I won't mention your name, though.
Aww.
I can cut that out. I'll cut that out.
Alright, now let's listen to this woman's wonderful, like,
Yeah, let's
the
just hear this
miracles
one.
too. And
Do you have to believe in the virgin birth and the resurrection of Christ to be a Christian?
And the whole thing is that, you see, what is so interesting is that what Richard and his fellow secularists want is for science to be the only guiding force.
Well, a lot of
for
religious
us-
people are secularists.
Well,
You know.
and for rationality and reason to be our God. But actually, what spirituality is a whole other dimension
doesn't
that
get
we
old.
enter into, and that
Spirituality is
you
bullshit.
don't.
I don't
I'm
care
sorry.
what you believe and what you say.
You care
What
a
I do
great deal
care
because you
about-
keep polling us.
What
you
I
keep
do-
polling us, and you
what
keep
I
trying
do
to play
care
a numbers
about
game. And
is
if we're
that-
going to play a numbers game, 7,000 members of the National Secular Society is just about as much as
Christina,
the
please stop.
7,000
Please don't
members
start
of
this.
the National British Sausage Appreciation
finish?
Society.
We all know that this is
you know,
political.
let's not let the
Okay,
secularists
Let's pause this bitch. Let's pause this bitch. First off, you don't interrupt Dawkins.
Yeah, that's a
That's-
bit rude.
That's like code 101.
Then again, I've watched this guy's program a few times, and it is quite common. It happens. It happened with Milo as well. I'm sorry, it is just so common for people to talk over each other, it's unreal.
Yeah,
And Dawkins
I
is
know.
being very courteous, you know.
Yeah, he stopped, even though he shouldn't.
No, he should
But he
raise.
did.
But I don't think he has a voice, the vocal range to be that kind of dominating. He knows just put
Well,
it
he
down subtly.
does. He does, but I think he doesn't prefer to use it.
Well, why bother?
Yeah.
Especially when people say things like, you know,
And
science
also,
is the god, essentially.
Sausage Party. The
I-
Sausage Party.
I like that. The only other party I've heard that's utterly ridiculous was about 5 years ago, a political party. They tried to become one called the Monster Raving Lunatic Party, and they got a few votes. They got votes. I was very impressed. I would have voted for them if I was sober enough.
Yeah, let's see what this bitch has to say. Just don't interrupt Dawkins. He always speaks truth, bitch.
Bitch.
drive
Jonathan, Richard, remind Richard what he was going to say.
I was just interrupted. I can't remember.
Yeah, it was the point. What was the point you were making? It was the point before that about
I'm saying that it's not a numbers
appreciating,
game.
not
Oh,
appreciating.
yeah, I don't care what you believe, so long as what you believe is not used to legislate in this country and affect what the rest of us believe.
You see that? I just side with Richard here because there are a lot of faiths, and I would say faiths in a plural sense, that would push for laws that ban that kind of freedom. And it's been more prevalent, certainly, with religions that are encroaching on Europe or already here, but have yet to still fully integrate, or faiths that haven't had a full reformation yet.
That is very true. But I must say one thing real quick. Ad hom pause.
Yeah.
Look at her face. It looks like she
You
has,
know
like,
it's
no
coming.
feedback.
I think what it is, I don't think she's going to be annoyed with the whole sentence. She's going to be annoyed with the part where he said, "I don't care what you believe."
Yes.
That's what she's going to focus on, because why focus on the entire point, which had some validity, when you could just take one bit out of context and strawman him?
Yes. Now, let's
Press
just
play.
see what this cunt says.
Why do we have 26 places in Parliament reserved for bishops of the Church of England? Why not?
Wait, let him finish.
Could I finish?
Let him finish.
Why not have 26 places reserved for white men?
This is an
Now,
answer.
if you did that, there would be outrage, and quite rightly. Why do we have 26 places reserved for bishops of the Church of England.
What do you think about this? Well, I don't know about the virgin birth or not. Do you think that's key to being a Christian? Do you think all those sort of fundamental key...
It's up to them. If they want to believe supernatural nonsense, that is up to them. But don't force it on the rest of us.
Okay.
Actually, there was something. I was watching a parliamentary programme yesterday, and it explains the process of Parliament. And at the beginning of the day, they have prayers before Parliament begins. And I found this fascinating because I think it's 42% of this country is atheist. So as atheism is becoming more and more popular and churches are becoming more and more vacant,
Yes.
why do you still hold on to the Church of England? Not the Church of England. Why do you still hold on to these arcane procedures that are becoming less important?
Very true.
I mean, I know that you want to represent the
faiths. It should be all up into political votes and who they want in there instead of just holding it for, just so your vote can just be in.
Yeah, I know you want to represent the faiths. Eventually, then you're going to have to find some for mosques. You're going to have some for Sikhs and for Jehovah's Witnesses, which, by the way, there are over 1 million Jehovah's Witnesses in this country. You're going to have some for Buddhists and Taoists and Jews.
Any Mormons?
I don't know about Mormons, but only reason I know about Jehovah's Witnesses is because we actually have a Kingdom Hall about 2 minutes from where I live.
How about Scientology? I want to hear that one.
Oh my God! If there is a church, I think there are.
No, it was
there
Inu.
must be some.
Inu did it.
There must be some churches of Scientology. I mean, I haven't had my thetan level checked in a while, but I'm sure it's due for a checkup. Like my prostate. Because it's the same test. 2 fingers up my arse.